Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. So we want to use the vertex and the intercepts to sketch the graph of the quadratic function. Give the equation of the parabola's axis of symmetry also, okay? And then use the graph. Once we graph it, we'll figure out the domain and the range. Okay, so if you remember from the formula right here, this is your h and your k, so that's going to give you your vertex right there. So that vertex is going to be at, so it's the opposite of this, which is actually positive 4, and then you get a negative 9 for your y value. So that's going to be the lowest point of the graph, and I'll talk about that a little bit in just a second. Let me scroll down a little bit. So let's see, we're over 4 and down 9, so got that little watermark in the way a little bit, but that's where the vertex is. So that's the lowest point. And the reason that's the lowest point, it's because if you plug in anything else but 4, when you square it right here, you'll get a positive number. And so you can only go one direction, and that's going to be up. Because if you plug in anything other than 4, you won't get 0 right here. You'll get something, whether it's positive or negative, it won't matter, because when it's squared, whenever you square up a number, its result is always going to be positive. So that's why this is the vertex, because right here that gives me the lowest point. 4 would make this 0, and then minus 9, so that's why I end up down here at negative 9 on my y value. So anything else I plug in, I'm going to go up, and that's going to create that parabola shape right there. So then next, it asks us to find the intercepts. So to find the x-intercepts, what we'll do is let f of x equals 0. So basically, it's the same thing as y, but I'm basically letting that equal 0. So we're going to have 0 equals x minus 4 squared minus 9. And so then I have to solve this, and this is kind of like back from the very first unit, where we're going to use the square root property in just a minute. So I'm going to start by adding 9 to both sides, so that cancels out. So we're going to get 9 equals x minus 4 squared. And then we'll go ahead and square root both sides. And so there I have to put the plus or minus when I square root the 9 over there. So once again, that goes back to the square root property. So I'm going to go ahead over here. So that'll leave me with x minus 4 equals, and then plus or minus the square root of 9, so that'd be plus or minus 3. And then what I'll do here is I'm going to add 4 to both sides. That cancels out. So x equals 4 plus or minus 3. So I have to look at it both ways. I need to look at it as plus, which would give me a 7. And then I have to look at it as minus 4 take away 3, which would give me a 1. So those are where my two x-intercepts are. So those intercepts here will be at, let's see, 7 right there, 7, and at 1 right there. And typically, I mean, that's enough information to draw the graph, but we'll go ahead and make sure we answer everything they want. So let's see, it says intercepts. It doesn't specify x or y intercepts. So let's find I'm going to go ahead and find the y-intercept also, just to be safe. So if I want to find the oops, sorry, that's a little messy. The y-intercept, what we're going to have to do here is let x equal 0. And so we're going to evaluate it at f of 0. So we're going to have 0 minus 4 squared minus 9. I'll scroll down and I'll go back up. So right here, this will become a negative 4, which I'm going to square, which negative 4 squared actually becomes positive 16. Take away 9, which would give us a 7. So my y-intercept is at 7. So I'm going to hit the y-axis up here at 7 right there. Okay? All right, let's see. What else do they need? Let's see. So I got my intercepts. Okay. Oops. Um, give the equation of the parabola's axis of symmetry. Okay, so all that is it's this vertical line that cuts right through the parabola, it cuts right through the vertex. So whatever the vertex is, it's always going to be x equals that x value. So it's going to be x equals 4. It's always going to be that. That's how you can always find the equation of the vertex, is it's always going to be x equals the x value from the vertex. And that's what this line is right there. And then let's see. All right, then we're going to go ahead and graph it, and then we'll do domain and range. So let me see. I'll try my best on graphing this. Let's see. So we're going to come down, try to put a little curve with it at the bottom, and it curves back up, and then goes back up. There we go. Okay, so the domain on these will always be all real numbers. So it's going to be from negative to positive infinity for domain. It goes left and right indefinitely. Now, range refers to how high and how low we go. Well, there is no limit on how high we go, but there is a limit on how low we go. And the lowest we go right here, see this point is at 4, -9. So the lowest we're going to go is -9. So my range is going to be, we're going to bracket in the -9 because we do get to include it. We go from -9 and then up indefinitely, so to infinity. So that would be the range. Okay. I think that's it. I hope that helps. If you have more questions, feel free to send me a message.